Hi everyone, welcome back to Farida's Sri Lankan recipes. Today we're making silky Wattlappam. I say silky because Wattlappam is usually more darker brown and has a lot of bubbles and cakier than this. But if you're a person who likes cheesecakes, mousse cakes, and silky stuff than real cakes, then this recipe is for you. And as mentioned in the title, Wattlappam is actually a pudding made of eggs and palm sugar, which is Kithul, and coconut milk. These are the ingredients. We have here 1 full cup of Kithul syrup. That's palm sugar syrup. I use the syrup because it makes the consistency silkier and whatnot, and the sugar itself takes a long time to make. This is 1 cup of coconut milk and a 1/4 cup of half and half cream. And then we have, if you have large eggs, 6 will do. If it's medium like these, then 8 eggs. And we have some cashews, as many as you like. If you like to bite into cashew every bite, then a whole lot. If you're like me, then a few. And about 5 to 6 cardamoms ground. I've crushed them in the mortar and pestle. And we have this. Now, this is not sponsored at all. I don't know if this is the best brand out there, but this is the bottle that I bought for the Kithul syrup. First things first, we're going to separate the eggs, the egg white from the egg yolk. I strain the eggs because it helps to remove that little jelly type of meat in the eggs. That piece actually causes the egg or the recipe to smell. If you've ever boiled eggs and you smell that strong scent, apparently that's where it comes from. Now, sometimes it will attach itself to the egg yolk even after you try to strain it out of the egg white. So you will probably need to get it out after or strain it again after. Again, if you like the thicker, harder recipe, don't separate the eggs. But I separate them and I whip the egg whites like so with the beater. If you want the little bubbles in your recipe, don't use the beater, use a hand whisk. So when the egg whites start looking like this, a little bit whipped, I add the half and half cream. Now, most people, when whipping half and half cream and eggs, will probably do it separately and then mix it together, like fold it in together. I'm not trying to over whip it because I'm not trying to have very airy wattlappam. But if, again, you don't want the silky smooth type and you want the bubbles in it and a little bit of cakier, thicker wattlappam, then don't use the hand blender and don't even use half and half cream. Just whip the entire egg as a whole together. Don't even separate the eggs. I do this just to add that consistency that's a lot smoother, a little bit more like creme brûlée than a thick cake. Also, if you over whip it, you're not going to get any bubbles at all. So if you like that recipe, then again, don't over whip, use a hand whisk. Do the same thing with the egg yolks. Blend it very well or not, depending on the texture that you want. Again, I blend it slowly at first, and then I increase the speed on my hand blender cake beater. And when it gets smooth and fully yellow, I start adding in the Kithul syrup. This is so much simpler. Because I'm using the syrup, it's not going to be super dark brown. It's going to be more of a beige, yellowy color when it's completed and finished. But if you use the actual Kithul palm sugar, the hard brown sugar, it'll be a lot darker in color because you'll be using a lot of it and you need to caramelize that. That whole step is a whole lot longer. It'll take probably an extra 15 to 20, maybe half an hour longer to make it that way. And again, I like the smooth consistency, so I use the syrup. So I just keep blending it again until the Kithul is completely mixed into the egg. Now, this is the egg yolks only. I have not mixed in the egg whites and half and half cream, which I blended separately. I whipped that separately in a different bowl. I haven't brought the two mixtures together yet. Now, when the Kithul is fully mixed in, you add the coconut milk, 1 whole cup. You can reduce or increase the milk and the Kithul to your liking. If you like it sweeter, you could add more. If you like it less sweet, then reduce the kithul. And again, if you want more of a creamier, smoother consistency, you can add more coconut milk. If not, if you want it a little thicker, then keep it more egg, less coconut milk. When it gets to this consistency, it's still liquidy. I start adding in the cardamom. I dump the ground cardamom right into the mixture, but I do try to remove some, like as much of the outer shells or the leafy parts of it. And now I mix the egg yolks with all of the ingredients in it with the egg whites. As you can see, mine has deflated a little bit, the egg whites and half cream, which is fine because the consistency is still going to be there. It's just not going to be airy. Yeah, I just mix it in with a whisk now because I don't want it to flatten anymore. I don't want to use the beater to mix this just because it's going to just deflate all of the air bubbles and the whipped part of it is going to go down too much, and I don't want that. So, but if you want that, then go ahead, use the blender. Make sure to blend it so that it's not all white and tan streaks. It's got to come to a one color, the whole mixture, to that particular color that you see in this on the screen right now, more of a tan type of color all the way through. Yeah, you're still going to have those little white foams at the top, and that's mostly from the egg whites, but it's got to come to this consistency and color. So there was one tiny little ingredient I totally forgot about, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Don't forget that. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but make sure you mix it into this mixture because that is a very important part, but it's only a tiny teaspoon and I completely forgot. So you'll see it when it starts to get really smooth and a tan color and there's a little bit of foam. I add the cashew nuts right into this mixture before it even goes into the pan. Why? Because I like a bite of cashew nuts in every bite. Some people will put it on the top, and some people will only add it near the end, just on the top only. No, I actually like to bite into a tiny piece of cashew nut. Again, I also break the cashew nuts into pieces. I don't put whole cashew nuts. Now you just fill a pan. Honestly, I don't know the size of this pan. I'll find out and I'll put it in the descriptions, and then you might have to give it a little second whisk there because if you see the bottom of the bowl, there was cardamom in it. Cover the pan. I'm not going to do any baking with this. I'm going to give it a water bath, which is basically you fill a pot with water, you put a little stand in it. You can buy these things on Amazon, and then cover the entire pan, and then that has the Wattlappam mixture in it, and put it in the water bath on the stand, put a lid on it, and let it boil basically, or steam, for about 40 minutes. Now you have to make sure that the top is covered completely and it's totally airtight and everything, because you don't want even a drop of water to fall into this while it's steaming. Okay, once it's tightly tucked in, put it into a water bath, cover the lid, and cook for 40 minutes, and you will have a silky, bubble-free, smooth, creme brulee textured wattlappam. I hope you guys try this, and if you like it, please do make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you.